Hi guys, welcome back to Relatable Girl. My name is Kendra, and today we are going to talk about sinus surgery. So it's been 2 weeks since I had endoscopic sinus surgery. It was a 4 or 5 part surgery, and it's definitely been a lot. I've talked in previous videos about my allergies, about getting allergy shots, about my doctor suggesting that I get sinus surgery, about the previous sinus surgery that I had on these tubes back in 2013, about the preparation for the surgery, and then I also did a video about 6 days after the surgery, just kind of updating you on how I was doing. So it's been 2 weeks now, and there's a lot to talk about because it's a lot. So I wanted to get honest and real with you for this video, and not just talk about like positive things and the good things, but kind of give you a more real idea of what this is like, and also just kind of where my headspace is right now. So for anyone who's curious, before I start, I tried to do a Lucy Boynton inspired makeup look today. I loved her look at the Met Gala. I thought it was gorgeous. So I used my Lime Crime Venus XL palette for the eyeshadow, with a tiny bit of my Anastasia Beverly Hills Dream highlight palette on top to give it some sparkle. I used white eyeliner, and then I put tiny little dots of rhinestones on top using lash glue for adhesive. I'm wearing a NYX Cosmetics lip color that I've been wearing a lot lately. And I used my MAC blush. I don't remember what the name of it is. I've had it for a long time, but I used a ton of blush to make everything very pink and fun. I used false lashes on top, and then I added mascara, and on the bottom I wore mascara as well, which I don't normally do. It will probably melt off my face in like 10 minutes, but for now it looks cool. And I didn't have any nice pastel flowers today, but I'm gonna try this look again sometime and like add some fun pastel flowers once I can get my hands on some. But for today, I am just wearing a half lucid crown. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed that little makeup update. I got the splints taken out of my nose about 6 days after my surgery, which was a huge relief because those splints were very painful, and just, you know, every day that I had them in felt like 4 days. I was aware of it in my nose every moment. I couldn't talk normally. I couldn't chew normally. Everything hurt. It was not a fun time. Of course, the splints were there to help my septum to heal properly. So of course they needed to be there, whatever. That's fine. Just saying, it was very painful. And around the time that I got those out, I was starting to go through sort of a first round of just feeling really depressed because I had, you know, been inside for days. I was kind of isolated mentally because I just didn't feel good, and I was like falling asleep constantly. And my wonderful roommates were here for me, and they did the best they could, but I was just like in and out of falling asleep all the time. I was not in a great mood, and I was taking, you know, of course, a lot of medication to get through. I was taking pain medication, I was taking antibiotics, I was taking steroids, and it was a lot. It started to be a lot. I got the splints out, and I felt so much better for a couple days. I was just like a new person. I was like, oh, this is wonderful. I can breathe so well. I feel so amazing. And then maybe a day or two later, I got a comment from someone here on YouTube who mentioned something very unfortunate, very sad and tragic that has happened to some people who had a similar surgery as me. I will not mention that for now, just because I don't want to pass along this exact same kind of anxiety to other people. But I am a person who has a lot of anxiety problems. And I'm also 100% a hypochondriac. What that means is when you tell me about something, when you tell me about, you know, an illness or whatever, I can literally manifest those symptoms in myself out of stress. It's an annoying thing to have. I hate it. It's been this way since I was a little kid. I've always been this way about the hypochondria thing. I hate it, and I'm aware of it. I know that it's happening, but it's still hard. And when you have anxiety and you have depression and you have hypochondriac tendencies, it can be really hard, because when somebody puts that in your mind, suddenly you're looking for it, you're thinking about it all the time. So for a couple days after I found out about that, I felt extremely depressed. I felt worried, anxious, and depressed. I was sure that I was also developing this particular thing, and symptoms that I hadn't even considered or thought that much about, like things that I had just kind of been like, oh, this is just part of healing. Suddenly I was putting a lot of weight on them, and I was concerned that they were signs of this other thing developing, because some of the things that he described are things that I had had. However, before this, I just attributed them to being a normal part of healing. And it was tough. I talked to a couple of my very close friends who were incredibly loving and helpful. And I just literally had to work through it. I had to just go through it. I had to let all of the bad thoughts in. I had to, you know, go through the stages of mourning, basically, thinking that this bad thing had happened to me. And it wasn't just that, it was just everything. I just felt very down. I was tired, I was exhausted. I felt really depressed and lonely and worried about money, because I've taken, you know, some time off of work to get this done. And I got very down for a few days. And my childhood best friend, Sarah, who I'm sure will be watching this soon, Sarah said to me that she thought I should make this video and just talk about what's been going on, talk about the other side of something like this and how hard it is to recover from a major surgery. So I agreed with her. I thought that was a good idea, that's why I'm sitting down doing this today, because the truth is, a lot of times people show you like the good side, the happy side, like, oh, things are going great. You know, I'm healing really well. I had this wonderful thing done. My life is so much better. And that part is definitely part of it, but it's not all of it, and definitely not for everyone. I'm so thankful that I've had this surgery, and I know that it's going to be incredible for me in the long run, but it's been very hard, and it's still very hard. And part of me mistakenly thought that like 2 weeks in, I was going to be completely healed. I was going to be back on my feet, running around like a crazy person. I am a workaholic. I am. I'm a workaholic. I work a lot. I like to feel busy. I unfortunately tie a lot of my self-worth to working. And the few times in life where somebody has even slightly mentioned the idea of me being lazy or not working hard enough, I've taken that very much to heart. And those things not only hurt really badly, but I didn't forget them. They're there all the time in the back of my head. So if I stop for any reason, even because I had a major surgery on my head, there's a part of me that's like, oh, you're being lazy, you're not working, you're not, you know, being productive, whatever. So that's a struggle. That's something that I struggle with. And I thought that after 2 weeks, I would be fully healed, back on my feet, running around, whatever. The truth is, this is hard. Having surgery on your head is hard. Having sinus surgery is hard. It's hard for anyone. You could be very young and healthy, and it's hard. You know, you could be mentally much more healthy than me, and it's hard. You know, you have so many things in your head that are healing. You have, you're supposed to use your sinus rinse like 4 to 5 times a day. It's a lot of times a day. And in the last couple days, I've had, you know, and things change. There's stages of this. So at first I was just like breathing amazing all the time. It was so great. And then as I start going back out into the world and being exposed to allergens again and pollution, I can feel it. And now instead of those things going into my nose and kind of getting stuck in my head, a lot of times they're just like going straight in and going into my chest or whatever. I'm breathing straight into my chest, which has been different. And in the last few days, I have had so much postnasal drip, especially as soon as I lay down. I can feel so much postnasal drip, and that goes into my chest. And then that makes my chest feel slightly tight and the tubes feel tight. And that gives that feeling of like not being able to breathe super well, which when you've tasted air, when you've tasted oxygen, it changes everything. Suddenly you want to breathe all the time. Crazy, right? I also have had to adjust to the fact that when my nose is not getting stuffy from allergies, and when I'm not being exposed to that kind of stuff, when it's nice and open and I breathe, I'm getting so much more oxygen than I'm used to. And it kind of feels like when you're blowing balloons up and you've been blowing balloons up for a few seconds and then you just start getting really lightheaded. It kind of feels like that a lot of times because I'm getting a lot more oxygen than I used to and my brain is having to adjust. So there have been times where I've been out walking and I feel like I'm out of breath. And I hate that because, first of all, I'm like an endurance walker. I walk forever. I live in New York City. Like, I'm used to walking a lot. So I don't like that feeling. It makes me feel weak. But I have to accept that that's part of recovering from a surgery. And it's also part of my body adjusting to having a lot more oxygen coming into my nose and also less things blocking those allergens off. So suddenly everything that's going in there is going straight down into my lungs. So I have actually ordered some IV extract, which I've used in the past, because years ago I had problems with, you know, the postnasal drip and like breathing. This was long before my sinus surgery. I would have similar problems to this and it would scare me because I would just feel like I couldn't breathe. I just could not breathe. So I used that back then and that helped a lot. It's something that's suggested for asthma patients. So I ordered some yesterday. I'm waiting for it to come in. I'm gonna start using that and I'm gonna get back on to having my allergy shots soon. It's been 3 weeks now because I waited the week before and then I haven't gotten them since having surgery, but I'm gonna be going back and getting back on track with those. I know that's gonna be a challenge too though, and I'm nervous about that because I know it's gonna be hard to go back to getting allergy shots right now. My body is gonna react differently. And because it's been 3 weeks, there's gonna be a little bit of like a rebound effect like there always is. So it's a lot, it's hard. It's hard. It has not all been, you know, sunshine for me. And when people ask me, hey, are you feeling a lot better? There's part of me that wants to just say yes no matter what, because I feel like I'm disappointing them or letting them down. If I say, no, I'm not feeling that great right now, you know, they're like, you just had this major surgery done, you should be feeling amazing. But I also did just have a major surgery done. So no, I don't feel amazing yet. There are times where I feel amazing, but it's not just like I'm fully healed now forever and all of my problems are gone. I still am dealing with allergies. I'm still healing from the surgery itself, and I still am dealing with mental health issues, which those are their own whole thing. So anyway, I know this was very rambly and not quite as fun as some of my other videos lately, but I just want to be real with you guys. I want to tell you the truth. I want somebody to tell the truth about how this feels without being negative though, because this isn't a negative thing, this is a positive thing. But I want to always be honest with you. I want to tell you the truth that this has been hard and I'm struggling at times, and at times I feel very depressed or disappointed or just sad that I don't feel better yet, which is unreasonable, I know, but that's just the truth of how I feel. So I have to say though, a huge thank you to Liz and Larry, who I live with. They're absolutely the sweetest and most amazing people, the best roommates I've ever had. Just, we are like a little family and they have been so good through all of this. And I have to say thank you to Laura, who took me to the surgery and saw me through it and drove me home. And I have to say thank you so much to my other friend named Liz, who was so helpful and so kind to me and gave me some great perspective from the outside about some of these mental health issues. Thank you so much to Katrina, who like fielded my panicked 6 a.m. conversation recently and just like helped calm me down and was so sweet and so generous and patient. I appreciate it so much. Thank you so much, of course, to Sarah, who is always like a phone call away. We were able to just like, I sat outside a few nights ago and talked to her and like saw her face on the phone And even though we live, you know, across the country from each other, just getting to have that conversation and talk and, you know, getting to like cry and tell her what was wrong and not feel judged was amazing. And, you know, I'm so lucky. I have so many amazing friends. I have such a great support system, and I'm so grateful for that. Even when I'm the most sad and whatever, please just know I am so grateful for that. So thank you so much to everybody who has been there through all of this and who's been so kind and encouraging. I really appreciate it. And for everybody who just popped into this channel, please go take a look at my playlist about allergies and sinus stuff. There's a lot there. The goal is to get this channel to 150 subscribers by the end of August, and you can help by hitting the subscribe button right now. Go check out my videos. Give this one a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and hit the notification bell so that you'll know when I upload new videos. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I will see you soon.